In this video, I'm on page 20 of the workbook. It says to read the passage, then answer questions 8 through 15. How to change a tire. Have you ever been stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire? Knowing how to do basic car maintenance is important for every driver. Learning how to properly change a tire can help keep you safe. Step 1. Find a safe place to park. Make sure your vehicle is stopped on a flat, stable surface so the car will not roll. If you are driving and get a flat tire, pull over on a flat surface, even if it means you must drive on the flat tire. Avoid soft ground. Step 2. Take safety precautions. Turn your hazard lights on. Park as far away from traffic as possible. Lastly, there's a sequence word, apply the parking brake and check for traffic before exiting the car. Step 3, to ensure that your car is secure, place a heavy object in front of the wheels at the opposite end of the car that will be raised. Bricks or rocks will work if you do not have wheel chocks. Step 4. Open the trunk and take out the spare tire and the jack. Place the jack under the frame near the tire you are going to change. Make sure the jack is securely under the metal part of your car's frame. Some cars have a notch or mark for the jack just behind the front wheel wells or in front of the rear wheel wells. Step 5. Raise the jack until it just supports the car. Do not lift the tire off the ground. Check to make sure the jack is vertical to the ground. Step 6. Remove the hubcap and loosen the lug nuts. Find the end of the wrench that fits the lug nuts on your vehicle and turn them counterclockwise. Don't take them off all the way. Just loosen them. Step 7. Pump or crank the jack to lift the tire off the ground. You will need to lift it high enough to remove the flat tire and replace it with the spare. Finish taking the lug nuts off the tire and carefully remove the tire. Place the lug nuts in a safe place like inside the wheel cover or hubcap. Step 8. Place the spare tire on the hub. Make sure to align it with the wheel bolts. Put the lug nuts on and tighten them by hand. Step 9. Lower the car with the jack, but do not put the full weight on the ground. Tighten the lug nuts with the wrench. Step 10. Lower the car to the ground. Remove the jack and wheel chocks. Step 11. Put the flat tire in your trunk. Return the jack and any tools to the trunk. Now, there is a word in this passage that I have never seen before. I won't tell you how old I am, but I've lived a lot of years, and I've never seen this word, or if I have, I didn't know it. It's used twice in this passage. And so I'm going to look it up, because that's what I do when I see a word I don't know. Now, you probably know this word, but I just haven't seen it. So let me look. I'm going to use my context clue skills here just to make a guess about what this means. Now, if you know what it means, that's okay. You can still follow what I'm doing here. It says bricks or rocks will work if you do not have wheel chocks. So they're telling me if I don't have this unknown thing, I can use a brick or a rock instead. Okay, down here it says again, it uses that word again right here. Remove the jack and these things that I don't really understand. So I'm going to make a guess that this is something, I know it's something that will keep my car from rolling. So I'm thinking it says bricks or rocks will work if I don't have these things. So I'm going to guess that maybe this is like a block of some sort. A block that would keep my wheels from rolling. But I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up. And I'm going to do that with you. So if you know what this is, bear with us here. If you don't know what it is, we're about to find out. So I'm going to go to my internet. There's the Humboldt squid that we looked up. And I'm just going to Google a wheel chock because I have no idea. I may not even be pronouncing it correctly. If I'm not, I'm sorry. Okay, I see what it is. Let's look at a tire here. It's not a block, but it's kind of sort of the same idea. There's what it's for. It's a wedge that keeps your wheel from rolling forward. And guys, this is true. I truly do not know what that word is. I needed to look it up. I do that every time. If there is something I don't know, I stop right then and look it up so that the next time I see that word, I will know what it means. That's how you build a vocabulary. And I certainly don't know every word in the world. So I'm going to look them up when I don't know. But practice making a guess. In fact, this is not a block, it's a wedge. But we were pretty close. That guess was close. A brick, a rock, a wedge. Those will all keep my car from rolling. Okay, enough of that. Let's try these questions. What sequence word does the author use in step 2? Well, we've highlighted it. There are actually 2 of them. There's the word lastly, which is an adverb. It ends in ly. Before is an adverb. So it could be either one of those. But before is not one of my choices. So let's go with D, lastly. Adverbs are used very often in sequence because they tell us when something occurs. In which step is the car secured? And that means that it is fixed so that it cannot move. And that was done with the chocks. See, I'm already glad I looked up that word because that is part of securing the car. Here's the word, though, that I'm looking for. Secure. That's helpful. If that's actually one of my choices, step 3, then that's what I'm going to go with. So let's look back, and sure enough, it is. So I'm going to opt for number 9, step 3. And guys, I have completely lost my place in this. Is this which practice? Practice 5. No wonder I'm in the wrong place. I'm checking my answers as I go, just to be sure I'm telling you correctly. And I was looking at the wrong exercise. It has been a long day. I have been doing videos all day. But yes, we are correct there. What should be done immediately before raising the jack? Turn your hazard lights on. Make sure the jack is under the frame properly. Take the spare tire out of the trunk or remove the hubcap before raising the jack. So we're going to scan for raise the jack. Here's the word raised, but it's the car, not the jack. Here we go. Step 5 has what I'm looking for. Raise the jack. So what did we do right before that? Well, we opened the trunk and got the tire and the jack out, and we put the jack under the car. So let's see if one of those, make sure the jack is under the frame properly. It talked about those notches on the car frame. And I just thought of something I want to show you. We'll come back to these questions, but bear with me. My mind is still on that word, chalk. And if I don't show you this right now, I will forget it. So we will come back to number 11. Just hold on to that. But I don't know if you are aware that you can do this. If you want to know how to pronounce something, all you have to do is go to your web browser. It will help if you can spell pronounce. And there is, actually there's more than one thing on YouTube videos that will tell you how to pronounce things. So this is one way right here. And I think we're saying it right. Chalk, that's what this looks like. But I'm going to turn my sound up and hope you can hear this. Let's see what it says.
Chalk. Chalk.
We were right on the money. Here's another one. This is the one I usually use. This is on YouTube. So let's hear this one. You have to push play.
Chalk.
Exactly the way.
Chalk.
Sorry, he's still talking. Exactly the way we were saying.
Chalk.
And he won't hush now. Okay. If you happen to be an English as a second language student, where you are learning to pronounce English words, that is a very handy thing to know. So I would encourage you to do two things. Find the definition of the unknown word and also the pronunciation. And if you have the internet, and you must if you're watching these videos, that internet is a good thing to use to pronounce. Okay, back to number 11. What should be done before removing the hubcap? So let's look back at this passage, and I'm going to scan for hubcap. And when I say scan, I mean my eyes are just flying down through there. I am looking for hubcap. And right there it is. This is in step 6. Remove the hubcap. So what do we do right before that? Well, it said to raise the jack until it's vertical, or when it makes sure it's vertical to the ground. So, do we loosen the lug nuts? Do we remove the tire? We make sure the jack is vertical to the ground. That's the one I'm looking for. And the last option was to crank the jack to lift the tire. But we want to make sure it's vertical to the ground. Number 12. In which step should the lug nuts be taken completely off the flat tire? So I'm looking for lug nuts this time, and they're in there a lot. All right. I see them right here. I see them right here. I see them right here. So we're looking for the one that talks about taking them off. And it's right here in step 7. Finish taking the lug nuts off the tire and carefully remove the tire. Step 7. So I'm going to choose option B for number 12. You have finished taking the lug nuts off the flat tire. What should you do next? Well, Finish taking the lug nuts off the tire, and then it tells me, then you place the lug nuts in a safe place. You don't want to lose those. And there we go. Take the flat tire off the vehicle, remove the wheel cover, remove the jack from the vehicle, or place the lug nuts in the trunk. Well, it doesn't say that you should put the lug nuts in the trunk. So I think I didn't read far enough. Let's go back. Place the lug nuts in a safe place. Step 8, place the spare tire on the hub. Let's see if that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, duh. Look at what I did. I highlighted it and then I missed it. Finish taking the lug nuts off the tire and, do you see that? I missed that little piece right there, and that's the piece I need. Carefully remove the tire. So it's not this step, it was actually part of my highlighted area. Take the flat tire off the vehicle. And let me check that to be sure I'm not. Yes, that is correct. It's number 13 is A. What should be done immediately after placing the spare tire on the car? So you put the spare on the car. And there it says, this is step 8. Place the spare tire on the hub. Then what? Make sure to align it to the wheel bolts. So I believe this is what we're looking for. Let's see if that's one of our choices. A is to replace the lug nuts and tighten them by hand. B is to place the lug nuts inside the wheel cover. C is to lower the car with the jack. And D is to put the flat tire in the trunk. Well, none of those match what I just underlined, do they? No, I just didn't go far enough. I need to keep reading. Put the lug nuts on and tighten them by hand. So if you're finding that your answer is not there, it's usually that you didn't read far enough, or I didn't read far enough. So put the lug nuts back on and tighten them by hand. My common sense also tells me that this would be the correct choice. If all else fails, ask yourself logically, what would I do? I've just put that spare tire back on the hub. What would I do next? You don't want to lower the car because the wheel is not attached. And you don't want to put the flat in the trunk until you're ready to put the jack away. So logic would tell me to replace the lug nuts. Number 15. What should be done before lowering the jack and putting the car back on the ground? Before lowering the jack. So let's look back over here. And there in step 9, it says to lower the car with the jack, but do not put the weight on the ground. Before you lower it to the ground, what do? You tighten the lug nuts with a wrench. So all of this helps me to answer that last question, number 15. Before you put the car on the ground, you need to tighten the lug nuts with a wrench because you're ready to be finished now. You don't want those to come off. So C is the answer to number 15. Okay. Now we all know how to change a tire. And we know what the word chalk means. We know how to pronounce it. In our next lesson, we will be learning about making inferences. So that will be a completely different skill to this one, which will suit me just fine. But I will see you soon, and I hope you have a really good day. Bye-bye.